my God, I'm dying. This new phone is big. It makes my face look big. Maybe it is big. I'm assuming, even though no one's watching my video, which is fine. Oh, I need to be getting ready to leave, but I just realized my parents had turned off the hot water. I can't take a cold shower. They also disconnected the battery to my mother's car. I guess they don't want me to drive it. Oh boy, I tickle myself. Lots of people are out of school today, which is to be expected. But there is some funny stuff on the internet. I'd just like to point that out. Good morning, Kathy. So Wake County Schools, hi Betsy, Wake County Schools put the information about school being closed yesterday. And hey Christy, let me just say that their Their social media person is the funniest person on the planet. I would just like to give that credit. So go to the Wake County Public Schools Facebook page and read some of the comments and some of the responses. It's like they have the person from Wendy's working. I'm dying to know who it is. I sent her a message. She's probably afraid to talk to me. So I might publish them, but there's so many like good stories that I can't write them all. So sometimes it's just easier to say them out loud. And did you see the guy in the Savannah Post? Savannah, City of Savannah Government Post? Oh my God. I mean, these people are crazy. So I'll start with that one. City of Savannah, someone put googly eyes on a statue. Now I can't even remember who it was. And honest, googly eyes. Now, let's go over googly eyes. Googly eyes. Do you follow Wake County Public Schools Twitter? No, but this might get me into Twitter, Shannon, because I don't understand Twitter, but I need to. The googly eyes, one, we all know they're like the worst stickers ever. They fall off. So someone takes two tiny googly eyes and puts them on this statue. The city, Savannah City, whatever page, Facebook page, said this person is wanted that did that, and they're going to be arrested. I mean, that is the dumbest thing I have ever heard in my life. So now people are like, well, I'm not coming to Savannah. It's not safe. The googly-eyed bandit is there. And then somebody else said, clearly, you don't know anything about the internet. I would just challenge everyone in Savannah. If I were in Savannah, if I were even close to Savannah, I would go and put googly eyes on everything I could find. I mean, it is terrible. The idea that that is like a real problem means that they are out of touch. My hair is a real problem. Now, the Wake County Public Schools thing, I might have to write some of these comments because I was dying. Oh my God, the phone. I got this new phone yesterday, and now they're all hooked up. So if you can't tell anybody in our family who's texting, it's real annoying. Anyway, so Stephen Gawk, this cheers to you. Stephen Gawk worked at the Department of Public Safety, went to law school at Campbell. Stephen Gawk is a parent in Wake County, and he is very upset that there's no school. Stephen, we feel you. Everybody likes their kids to go to school, right? People have to work. People do all sorts of things. Stephen said, not everybody has a nanny. Now, Stephen is a lawyer, so I would assume that maybe he's just worrying about other people, but I don't think so. Stephen says, what's the difference between sitting at home without power and sitting at school without power? I remember being in school without power. There was always enough daylight coming through the windows to see the blackboard and our textbooks. The hallways were a lot darker, but not pitch dark. We managed without anyone getting killed. They were fun days, actually. The Wake County public school person pointed out to Stephen that the classrooms would probably get very hot. with no air conditioning. That was just one thing. And he was like, well, open some windows. Just, yes, we don't have blackboards or textbooks. I mean, I've never heard of such mess in my life. They have smart boards and computers with no electricity. You have to get to school. No stoplights, Stephen. School buses. Teenagers driving to school. Your county is very big, so if it seems wonderful at your house, it might not be at somebody else's house. And some classrooms don't have windows. Talk about pitch black dark. I mean, how in the hell are you going to have any light in there? Light a bunch of candles? So it's one thing for Stephen to be like, oh gosh, I hadn't thought about that. I get that, right? I mean, we're not all perfect. But no, Stephen can't let it go. He keeps harassing. By law, schools have to serve lunch, right? So what he says is parents can just send a lunch. I think it's your internet, Christy. Yes, most parents probably can send a lunch, but what about the ones that can't? This is no time to get involved in why you should be able to make your kids lunch. I mean, we're past that argument. So if that's a problem, then that's not good. Stephen said, well, I'd run to Costco and get some fruit cups. How many fruit cups is Stephen going to buy? Doesn't Wake County Public Schools have like 100,000 kids? No, here he can't, yes. Pack your kid a lunch. Pack lunch for your kid. If the fire alarm systems meet commercial building code standards, they should operate on a 24V line with a battery backup system. This is Stephen at the Department of Public Safety. And it's hard to believe the doors can't be locked unless there's power, because I doubt schools without power are unsecured right now. Good thing Stephen doesn't live in Onslow, Pender, Jones, or Craven County. Oh my God, Stephen would be in big trouble down there. And then Nancy Douglas Haywood said this was really funny. As a former Cary police officer, I would think safety was higher on your list. Oh, Stephen, where are you? Then he says, somebody else said this. There are trees down across the county that will take some time to clear. It wasn't all happening last night. And when you drive here, when the stoplights are out, you're taking your life in your own hands. I was shocked how bad it is. Safety comes first. There are a lot of power outages, which means traffic lights are out. Hey, Melissa. So Stephen puts his complaint again on there. And then Wake County Public Schools says this to Stephen. We responded to this exact same question from you above. We apologize if you were not able to read it. Okay, not funny. We have forwarded your comments to your child's principal. Oh my God, they've ratted him out to the principal. Stephen Gawk. Oh, you're going to be hating it today. Now your principal's going to hate you. Oh, I'm glad to know I'm not writing anything bad on Wake County school site. If somebody starts sending your comments to the principal, they ought to send them to his wife. Ooh, I bet she'd be mad too. So send them to your principal so they can follow up with you regarding our school facilities. This may be a conversation better to have in person. Oh. And Stephen, can't take no for an answer. I am sitting, and even from this vantage point, I still don't see what's crazy about the suggestion that parents pack a lunch for their kids so they don't have to miss a day of school. I know for a fact that kids can go to a school without power and emerge alive and no worse for the wear. I know because I have a number of times. Poor Stephen. Stephen. Anyway, I'd just like to give credit to the Wake County Public Schools social media person. I sent you a message this morning. I don't know if you got it. I'm going to tell you some other things he or she said, and said that you're my hero and asked if we could be friends because I love a smartass, especially in an educational capacity. Their Twitter is the best. I mean, I'm following Twitter when I get off with y'all. Twitter, I mean, holy cow, they're funny. God, they're funny. Now let's see what else they said. One person, for the record, at least admitted they were funny, which is good. Oldest. Let's see. Why did somebody put Snoopy on there? Oh, gosh, sorry. Oh. This person said, I'm not giving anybody's name but Stephen, because Stephen, won the award. The school district is way too big. Wake County said the storm was way too big. Where all the real action is. Karina, I know, I think Twitter, you can only write now they've just evidently upped the number of characters. I'm going to have to start doing some Twitter. I'm not that clever with just a short amount of words, though. Short amount. Does that make sense? I wish I were, but I'm not. And then somebody else said, I don't know why you can, why y'all can't have school. Da, 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 da. And then Wake County said, you sound like you'd really be good at this. You ought to apply for a job here. I love that. I really do. What else was funny? Funny. The googly eyes. Stephen. Was there anything else? Mark Johnson is going to tap Stephen for disaster relief coordinator. Oh, he might. Oh, God, somebody called me from the DPI this morning. They didn't leave a message. That's never a good sign. Might be Ben Matthews. I'm going to call him back next. I have a meeting with that superintendent at 11 in Pender County, and I'm sort of more curious about what he has to say. Because, last night I did a video on all that, on the ins and outs of insurance through DPI. You need to connect Twitter and Facebook. Okay, Stephanie, I shall. I really will. I don't have anything else to do. I got to wait for the hot water since my parents shut down this house. Last year when I came here, they had turned off the cable and electricity. No, I can't stay anywhere without cable and electricity. That's why I don't like to stay at bed and breakfasts. I didn't realize I stayed at this bed and breakfast. So it was really nice, but there was not a television. If I'm away from my family, I love television. Let's see. Megyn Kelly was on this morning. And, I don't really love Megyn Kelly, but lately when I have her show on, she has some good people on there. She had this awesome thing this morning called Pop-Up Pal, and it was about this guy, Austin was his name, and when his grandfather was elderly, he was kind of lonely and then needed to go to the grocery store, and if there's not family nearby, Stephen was like, you know what, let's hire a college student near a college town to take him to do stuff. And it was this great thing. So Stephen a year ago started this business, Pop-Up Pal. And it's for elderly people. And you pay his service, links them up with college students. And they might go to the grocery store. They might just drink coffee, get some things done, and not be lonely. I just think that is the best idea. I appreciate Megyn Kelly saying that. But then she undid all her fun, because then she had these people on there that said, social media gives you a false sense of belonging. And then in the next breath, she said, but my audience, I have a real connection with them. So I have a connection with my people on social media. Sort of why I did that supporter group, because it's smaller. And then I can make sure I don't say the wrong thing. There might be moles out there. They don't want to pay $5. So anyway, it really is nice to have a connection. I don't think it has to be all fake. Oh, look at what I did for my child's birthday party. Maybe I've created a connection in my mind. It's okay. It's working for me. I had a nightmare that I had cheese fries last night, and there's the evidence. Ugh. Okay. Well, I'm going to take a shower. I'm going to head to Burlington. I was supposed to be in Ashburn today, and last night and then today to go visit the school on the Innovative School District's hit list, but they're not open. So that makes me a little bit sad. But anyway, I'm going to have to do something about that later. Oh, that's bad. Anyway, carry on, people. Try to be kind to your children. And it's cold outside. Can we talk about the fact that it's like chilly? I tell you what, Connie Mashburn, I was glad our schools got out yesterday. When I was leaving Edenton, it was already windy. Now, I do complain about being out. I will say that. Because sometimes it seems silly. But I try not to complain too much. I'm certainly not like Stephen. Poor Stephen. Y'all go on and look at Stephen's comments. Come up with some funny requests. We have a school on the hill, on the hit list in Burlington. Hillcrest. Yes, Dawn, that's where I was going to go today. Had already made an appointment with the principal. But now they're not there. So, anyway, we're going to have to do it from via satellite. Oh, God. There's Roy Cooper talking about the hurricane. How come whenever they do these hurricane things, they have the translator, which I love a translator, but why is it only when there's an emergency? Like, there's not a translator when they're just doing a general announcement. What are your thoughts on a male elementary school teacher? Well, I love a male elementary school teacher. I wish we had more. Thank you for trying to visit the schools on the hit list. Yeah, and I did speak to the one in Rocky Mount yesterday, and they're really hopeful that they're not going to get put on the list. The trouble with the list, though, is if all the schools in North Carolina were doing wonderfully, there would be no one to put on the list. So then there would be no schools available for the Innovative School District, which would not be good because then our politicians, like Dan Forest, our lieutenant governor, they wouldn't get money from John Bryant, who wants to see schools turn into charter schools. So our politicians are under an obligation, if they want cash for their campaigns, to do what their funders are asking. Deaf interpreter required for those events. Well, I just think a deaf interpreter should be required for other events. I did this when I did my thing in tree fell down at the governor's mansion. When I did my event for the tennis group, I had a fella there that was deaf. And so I'd never had that before. It was really interesting. And he said, can I put this? He had his phone. He said, do you walk around when you talk, which I normally do, or do you stay still? And I said, well, because you're here, I'm going to stay still. I mean, that's important, right? So we put his phone, and then he calls this person that's a translator, and they listen through his phone, and then he gets the message in his ear of what I'm saying. Isn't that neat? You just never know what people are going through. So I thought that was cool. Yeah, Wake County does not need to have schools. And just because your neighborhood isn't bad, somebody else's is, Stephen. But Stephen, you can invite all the children over from the neighborhood to come to your house and teach them about being respectful of decisions. Carry on, people. Oh, I forgot about this. Do y'all remember this?